And then is there aspirations for FINEPRINT to go beyond the boundaries of Hong Kong?
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
I hope so.
Well, you're at the international airport. You're just going to jump on a plane, mate.
Yeah, I hope so. We started looking at China a few times. I've been going to China a lot in the last sort of 6 months, year. I've started to try and learn Mandarin, and I've been to Shanghai and Shenzhen and Fushan and Guangzhou and mainly because I'm just, why not? It's fun. It's something to learn, and but also I think it'd be good to it's an incredibly different market. So just to understand that market, I think takes time. But yeah, so we would like to go to another country, but at the moment, I think the goal is, if we go from 10 shops to 20 shops in Hong Kong, that's enough for that's a decent goal for now.
Yeah.
And then maybe when we're at that size, we can start thinking about other countries. We've looked at Singapore, we've looked at China, and we'll keep having those conversations. And I hope it does happen one day.
There's 2 goals, everyone. So next year, Scotty's going to run the Mount Fuji, and he's going to go from 10 to 20 shops. Got you there, mate. Where do you get your inspiration from then? Is there a source that you just top up with every now and then, or just because you're driven and it's obvious that you love what you do, mate?
Love it.
No,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Look at this fire, his face again. He did it again. Look at his eyes like firecrackers. Where do is there times when you need inspiration, and when you do need inspiration, where do you get it from? Or has there been a character? Is James it, mate? You tell me.
No. James is a very good friend, and I've learned a lot from him. I really get. This might explain how much I love flavor. Flavor is a very important part of life for me. If I go to any city in the world, I'll spend hours before we go there finding out where the good places are, and I'll travel for hours if I know somewhere that's going to be genuinely good eating experience. Yeah. I did it just this weekend in Phuket.
Did it deliver?
Unbelievable. Was it? Yeah. If you're in Phuket and you don't mind, and you're willing to sort of go off the beaten track to somewhere that's very remote, as More Mudong is this incredible Thai, very very local, super local.
Yes.
Like but it's the best Thai food I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's but very spicy. So anyway, but that's how much I love. Like it's this place that I went to is very very remote. So for the point being, to inspiration, cooking flavor inspires me. I love cooking, and just flavor and trying new dishes and that. So, and then, I do. Yeah, like people like watching videos of like some of the best ultra marathon runners, like like mountaineers and like have you like that? What really inspires me is this. Like, have you Nims Dai? Have you heard of him? He's a Nepalese guy. His name's Nims Dai, and he's a Nepalese guy, and he had the goal of climbing the world's 14.
I do know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's 14 peaks in the world above 8,000 meters.
Within 6 months, was it something like that? It was crazy.
Yeah. So the previous record was within 14 years or 7 years, or his goal was to do it within 7 months. So he wrote a book, and then there's a documentary about it. It's like both. I've read the book and watched the documentary. Phenomenal. Yeah. Just reading this story about this guy who climbed the 14 peaks in the world above 8,000 meters. And so inspirational.
Yeah.
Incredible. There's one story where he climbs Mount Everest, or one of the highest peaks in the world, and on his way down there was another climber who was in such a state that climber would have died, and Nims Dai carried him down. He's just in the middle of climbing the world's 14 peaks above 8,000 meters, and while he's climbing one of them, saves someone's life.
Tomorrow jumping on a plane to go to another place. Yeah.
He's So it's very very. So I get really inspired by that. There's another interesting. There's another book that I read once, which is worth book called Sheer Will. And it's about mountaineering. I love mountaineering books for some reason. But Sheer Will is a story about a guy who climbed, I forget how many of the world's highest peaks. But again, it's just a story of this guy who he climbs mountains, and just it's the kind of book I think anyone can read, regardless of what you're into, and really really enjoy. So yeah, that sort of stuff really inspires me.
Outside of Hong Kong, where's the best coffee you've ever had, and tell us about it?
Oh,
outside of Hong Kong?
outside of Hong Kong. I think most enjoyable coffee experience is probably in Naples. I love the coffee culture in Naples.
Southern Italian.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the history and the tradition, and just as a 50-year-old Italian barista in shirt and tie making your coffee, and with the old espresso machine and the old building, it's just beautiful. Either that, or that's probably the most enjoyable coffee experience. But I think the best coffee I've ever had was in Australia, in a cafe called, there's a famous coffee brand in Australia called Mecca, Mecca Coffee, Mecca Espresso. They used to have a coffee shop on King Street, and they once they had they were making coffee using a particular coffee device, and it was called a clover. It was this machine that brewed coffee a particular way, which was becoming famous around the world. And you haven't, no one, it stopped becoming commercially available because Starbucks bought it.
Really?
Yeah, it was called a clover. It was becoming really popular, and Starbucks bought the
competition.
bought the product, and it disappeared.
Wow.
Just cut out the competition.
Yeah,
But anyway, it was a machine called a clover, and it made a beautiful filter coffee with a particular single origin coffee called Ethiopian Beloya. Yeah, it was incredible.